Welcome to working with text files in Python. Introduction to text files. Text files are a simple and powerful way for us to store information outside of our Python programs. They let us save and retrieve data in a format that's easy for both computers and humans to understand. When we use text files in Python, we can read data, write new information, and make changes whenever we need. One key use for text files is reading input data. For example, if you have a large list of names, numbers, or even settings, you can keep them in a text file and have Python read them in automatically. This makes it easy to manage large amounts of data without typing everything directly into your code. Text files are also great for saving the results of your program. Instead of just printing output to the screen, you can write it to a file for permanent storage. This means you can keep a record of your program's results, even after it finishes running. Sometimes, we need to add more data to an existing file without erasing what's already there. In Python, we can append new information to a text file, making sure nothing gets lost. This is especially useful for things like keeping a running log of events or saving scores in a game. Text files are also handy for storing logs, debugging information, or configuration settings. If your program needs to keep track of what happened during a session, you can write messages or errors to a log file. For programs that need to remember certain options or preferences, you can save these settings in a simple text file and load them whenever the program starts. By using text files in Python, we make our programs more flexible and organized. We can handle larger amounts of data, keep track of important information, and even let our programs remember things between runs. Reading from text file basics. Text files provide a straightforward method for storing and retrieving data. They contain plain text and are commonly used in data storage and configuration tasks. To read a text file, you must specify its path and set the file mode to R for reading. The code opens a text file named example.txt in read mode. It reads the entire content of the file and stores it in a variable called content. The content is then printed to the screen for you to view. Finally, the file is closed to free up system resources. When you run this code, you will see the contents of the text file displayed as output. Writing text files in Python. In Python, writing text files is straightforward and useful for saving data. You can create or overwrite files with text using the built-in open function, specifying write mode. Here, we use the open function with W mode to create a file called output.txt. Within the with block, we write the text hello world to the file, followed by a new line containing this is a new line. As a result, output.txt will contain two lines. The first line reads hello world, the second line reads this is a new line. Appending data to text files. Appending data to text files lets you add new information without removing what is already there. This is especially useful for keeping logs or maintaining records. Always remember to include the new line character when adding text. If you do not, the next entry will appear directly after the previous one without starting a new line. Here, we use the open function in append mode to add new content to the file called data.txt. The write method inserts the string new data entry, followed by a new line character, ensuring each entry appears on a separate line. There is no immediate output from this operation, but the file data.txt now contains the new entry. Handling file errors and exceptions. When working with files, it's important to handle potential errors, such as when a file does not exist, or you lack the necessary permissions. Using try and except blocks in Python allows you to catch these exceptions and manage them gracefully. In this code, we attempt to open a file named data.text for reading. If the file cannot be found, the code catches the file not found error and prints a message to inform you that the file path should be checked. If any other input or output error occurs, such as lacking the correct permissions, the code catches the I/O error and displays an appropriate message. If the file data.txt does not exist, the message file not found. Please check the file path is shown. Processing data from text files. Processing data from text files involves reading the contents and manipulating them for various purposes. This is common in applications where data needs to be analyzed or transformed. Here, we open a text file named data.text in read mode. The lines are read into a list, allowing us to access each line individually. We then use a loop to go through each line and print it, removing any extra spaces or line breaks at the end. This ensures the output is clean and easy to work with. Sample output. Line 1 data. Line 2 data. Line 3 data. Creating user-friendly file outputs. Creating user-friendly file outputs is essential for making data easily readable. This involves formatting the text so that users can quickly understand the information. Here, we add new lines between each entry and commas between each item to improve clarity. In this code, we open a text file called output.txt for writing. We first write a header line containing the labels name, age, and city, separated by commas and ending with a new line. Next, we write 2 rows of data, one for Alice and one for Bob. Each row includes the person's name, age, and city, again separated by commas and followed by a new line for readability. This approach ensures that the resulting file is neatly organized, making it easy to read or process later.